and welcome into Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. We are the Wheelhouse here. And Matt Mascarenas, Michael Snow with you live every Sunday morning. Matt, how are we on what has been a pretty warm weekend?
Oh, man, I got sunburned yesterday, and I haven't been sunburned all year. I've been really good at it by keeping myself not getting sunburned, and I got sunburned on my neck. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well today. Got a lot of fun things planned today. You know, Costco trip is on the list.
Always fun.
Home Depot, maybe. You know,
and Beyond if you have time.
If we have time, only if we have time, Mike. Only if we have time.
Yep.
How are you doing?
Well, could be the opposite type of day.
True.
For me, as we kind of talked pre-show, might have to put the old pooch down, but we'll see what they say.
Crossing my fingers, they got good news.
Maybe they just have to pop something into place or something like that. But yeah, just having a hard time walking, even getting up, not eating really. So, it's 2025, Matt, or 2024, Matt. You'd think there would be some kind of device that we can read a dog's mind or translate their emotions already.
You know, well, I mean, we got Caesar, right? We got Caesar Milan, but he can do most of that stuff. But yeah, can we get like an AI Caesar that can help us or something? Yeah, I agree, because it would be nice. Sometimes I wonder what the hell my dog's saying. I'm like, I wish I could help you out, but I don't know what you want right now, dude.
I mean, and who knows, besides her back legs giving out on her, I mean, there could be, 10 other things wrong with her that we don't know. So,
right. True.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a very, very warm weekend here in the local Denver area, if you're in the Denver area. So, another, I think, almost 100-degree day today.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. If you're walking your dogs, walk them early or walk them late, I guess.
Right, exactly. You don't want to put them in those positions to be
Unless
out there.
You have those little sneakers that they don't have to touch the concrete. But most dogs look like they're like newborn deer.
They hate them.
Ice.
They hate them. Yeah, and spray the dog's face. If you are out today, I don't suggest it, but spray like water in their face. Don't make them or have them drink a bunch of water after they're out there running around and all overheated. Just spray them with water or something, and give them a break before you give them water, because that could be dangerous.
Yeah, see, we don't need Caesar Milan.
We got us. We're here.
We got Matt, the dog whisperer, over here. See? But anyway, if you are so obliged, once you go and like and follow all of us and all of Elevation 5280 Sports Lifestyle on social media, on Facebook, Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. You can follow Matt on Instagram at Matt_Mascarenas, at Elevation 5280 Radio. I'm at SportsJunkie25, and on X at 5280 Sports Radio, at Matt Mascarenas1. I'm at Michael Spillin. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spotify channel as well. And for the live shows, you can text 720-375-2341. Leave a comment on anything you'd like as well. And just a heads up, this and many shows on the network brought to you by Pikes Peak Sports Cards. If you're in the Denver area, Colorado Springs area, go check them out. Bunch of card shows almost every weekend during the summer. They'll be at the huge card show coming up here. I think it's in August, I want to say, up at the Crown Royal Plaza. I think that's the name of the hotel in Denver, over kind of off of I-70 and Tower. So go check that out as well. As we dive, a lot to get into today, Matt. If you notice the name of our episode today, it is Stat Patters. We're patrolling the universe, Matt. We're looking for any kind of stat patter we can find, and then the non-stat. There is one non-stat patter in our list today. So why don't we dive right into our main concourse, Matt? It is called Fire and Ice.
It's now time for Fire.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
He's on fire.
I'm the only one, a burning desire.
ice.
Ice Cube, baby.
You're as cold as ice. Ice, ice, baby.
All right, this is Fire and Ice, and it is takes up our main concourse of the show. We'll go through our top 3 best, I guess, headlines throughout the last week, and also our not so great top 3 headlines over the last week or so. Matt, which one do you want to start with?
Let's go hot. Let's get hot today. Let's go hot first.
All right, number 3 on the hot side, the highly anticipated college football 25, Matt, dropping on Friday, and this is one of the most highly anticipated games to be coming out in a very, very long time, until whenever GTA 6 ever comes out. I've seen memes now, Matt, that if something happens before GTA 6, it'll, like, one of the things I saw is that we got Bronny and LeBron on the same team before we got GTA 6. That's what's going around. But NCAA or college football 25, whatever you want to call it, coming out, Matt, are you copping? Are you picking this up? Do you already have it pre-ordered?
Yes, and yes. And I might all the above. And I might be divorced, and I might have no kids after, like, I might not have a family after this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen, because I don't know if you've caught, but I've been watching some streamers and stuff play this game. And from the looks of it, I don't know if you've seen it, and if you have, I'm sure you have, but we'll get your opinion on what it looks like. But I'm a little nervous. It's Madden, but NCAA, because if you remember, Madden and NCAA, their game mechanics were different. They were different. They were not comparable. They were not alike. They weren't the same. There was a different feel to it. From what I have seen and some of the things I've seen, I'm a little nervous that it looks like Madden. Now, we haven't played this college football game in what, almost 10 years or something like that. So I know it might be different for us to get in there and get our hands on it, but I'm looking forward to the road to glory. I'm looking forward to, create your Heisman player, your dynasties. I'm looking forward to getting involved on an online dynasty again, like I did back in the day. All these things I'm just looking forward to, and I'm not like searching to get the nostalgia feel, which is going to be there. I know it, but I truly enjoyed playing that football game. It was one of the best video games I've ever played in my life. You can do so many things in that game that can keep you busy. And yeah, sure, I know, get out and touch grass, blah blah blah. But hell, if there's any time to sit at home and play a video game, the time is now to play this video game, especially if you're an old football game head like we are.
Yeah, when was the last one?
It was I want to say
years?
I want to say it was like 2014 was the last one.
10 years?
Yeah. I want to say it was 2014, and that Michigan player was on the cover.
And he was doing the Heisman pose.
I think so. Yeah.
So this is the first game in 11 years, 2013.
11
so you're
years.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of dads, husbands, and single guys are going to either stay single or get single, or just be in the doghouse for a very, very, very long time. So
I'm one of those guys for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it, Matt, like you said, and it's been a long time. It's been so long since. And I honestly stopped getting all the Madden games. You brought up Madden. I kind of stopped getting those. They're just basically all the same. You can really, if you're aiming to get a Madden, just get one of the newer ones, and then you can just update the roster. I mean, and you can update the game. The game is going to update to kind of what the new one is anyway. So there's no need to go out and spend $60 to $80 for the deluxe edition if you're looking to do that. I mean, I guess you can head over to your local GameStop and pick up like a refurbished or a used one for, I guess, half the price. I haven't honestly been into a GameStop, Matt, because now you're just able to download these games But I will say I still like getting a physical copy of the game, Matt, because especially like a like a Call of Duty or
Mhm.
one of those games that you can once you're done beating the campaign, once you're done fighting off zombies, once you're done playing online with a bunch of people for a long time, you can at least go trade those in for something. You
Yeah.
download a game, Matt, you're getting nothing back in return.
No, it's on there, and like the way to go nowadays is the Game Pass. If you're on
Oh yeah,
Xbox, there's the Game
yeah.
Pass. I just got the EA Sports Game Pass, which that's pretty it's worth it. So there's a lot of ways to do it, and the one thing I'm excited about, especially with this game, Mike, and I'm hoping that the game mechanics aren't the same because of Madden, because I feel like us old guys have a distinct advantage on the college football game because we've played it. There's a lot of these kids that weren't even born that are playing that are playing games right now. So I'm hopeful that us old guys can handle our own out there when we're playing in these live matches or these live games, that we can hold our own against these kids. I'm confident that we can do it because I know any other game I play with, NBA 2K, Call of Duty, Warzone, Apex Legends, Fortnite, I
I was
get
just about
wrecked
to
by
say.
these kids.
I was just about to say these 9-year-olds who are sweating on Fortnite. Just
They're yeah,
and me and
it's
my 36-year-old friends can't even get past can't even get to I don't
you
know
can't get to the final circle because you're
10
getting killed.
10
Yeah,
squads left.
it's wild, and I'm hoping that, because if you remember, like, I know we do, there's a different way to play college football. It's not Madden. You got to play it. And like I said, I'm hoping that they kept the game mechanics. You got to play it like a college football game. It's closer to like an arcade game almost, in a sense, because of all the options, the triple options, the spread offense, the gun empty, all the college football stuff you can do in that game, or you could have done in that game. I think us old guys have an edge on these young punks, and I think we can take them out. I really do. I'm going to be sitting there ready to go, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to be embarrassed the first time I get rolled by one of these kids that they figure it out, because they've been on the game since they woke up in the morning. And when I get off of work and I got to do what I got to do, and I come home, stretch out, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to get a game in. This kid's been playing for basically 16 hours. So there is that aspect of it too, but I think us old guys have something for these young punks nowadays in this game. I would put my money on an old dude in a game of NCAA 25 against a young guy.
I hope you're right. I hope you're
I
right.
hope so
they
too.
still have how back in the day you could create a new college pretty much. You
Yep.
can create a stadium. You can create. I kind of hope all that's in there.
Right.
as well.
And I'm pretty sure, like, you can, because what I like to do is I did it with Louisiana, or University of Lafayette Monroe, UNLM, the Chippewa.
I thought you were just about to say the what were they called? The UC or the whatever
The
the
Mud
Mud
Dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah, the US, what is it, UCS Mud Dogs or something like that. Yeah. ULSC Mud Dogs, or yeah, it was. But you can create a team like that, because I remember I created it was I created a team from that was basically, I had them from one of those, actually I can't remember the movie now, but I did that too. So I'm hoping that they have that, and I know that they still have to where you can take one of those lower schools, like a Dartmouth or a Butler or something, that just, I mean, Butler is a little bit different, but you know what I'm saying, like a lower division football team, and then take them to put them into a conference. I'm wondering if the NIL is going to be involved. Like, if we're going to be able to have like a bank of money, and we can offer these kids to come play for us. I wonder if that's going to, like, what the transfer portal is going to open up, and you can go in there and see who's in the transfer portal and start recruiting those kids. So the recruiting and everything was a lot of fun for me. And I remember that back then. I hope it's the same.
Yeah, I really hope it's the same as well. So we will see what happens on Friday. So you got a whole weekend to call into work Monday if you're still doing that. All right, Matt. Number 2 on the fire list. I don't know if you've seen this new national phenomenon, Matt. But this dude on the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens, Matt, called up early May, so almost the beginning of the season, but he didn't play in the majors all of April. Called up early May. He got his first start on May 17th. Fast forward to today, Matt. He's made 11 starts. How about 6-0 with a 1.90 ERA, already 89 strikeouts on the season as well, Matt. He's only 22 years of age. He's going to be starting the All-Star game here coming up this Tuesday. So congratulations to Paul Skeens. I don't know if you've seen this guy pitch, Matt. Absolutely filthy stuff for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So congratulations to him. 22 years old, Matt, starting a MLB All-Star game for the National League. And again, he's just been absolutely phenomenal, filthy on the mound this season for the Bucks.
These are the things that make you still feel romantic about baseball. You know, these are the things that you see, that you like to see, and have a player come up. The former LSU Tiger national champion, and I mean, just a beast. He was at Air Force. You know, he was at Air Force before he went to LSU. So maybe there's like a little tie for us there. You know, that Air Force school. So he's a heck of a young man, and just what he's been able to do on the baseball field, he's a winner. You know, he goes from winning in college, and then it goes right in and picks up where he left off. So I'm rooting for the guy, and I love stories like this. And hopefully, you know, he just keeps going and doing what he's doing. But it's really, really special, and it's something for me to, you know, watch the All-Star game. It's going to give me a reason to watch the All-Star game outside of the home run derby and everything else that goes along with it.
Yeah, we always talk about what certain leagues need to do about All-Star games, how the NBA can fix their All-Star weekend, how the Pro Bowl can be spruced up somehow. It just seems like baseball still continues to go down the same path, Matt, and it's a good path because I personally think it's the best All-Star game that there is in professional sports. Hockey's right up there as well because I mean, I guess you can decide not to play defense in the hockey game as well, but it's harder because you're not I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, man, but I guess it's harder to stop playing defense on hockey than it is to stop playing defense in basketball.
Right.
I mean, I guess you can olay and let the guy go right by you, I guess. But, you know, in defense in hockey, they're playing back towards near the goalie, so they're not really letting anybody skate by them unless there's some sort of breakaway that's about to happen. But baseball, there's only one way to do it, Matt, unless you are Roger Dorn, Matt, and you're laying the baseball right past you.
But it's in his contract that he can't take a ground ball off the chest. You know, that's in his contract, right? You know, I don't know why Lou's out there having him do that stuff all the time. It's in his contract, damn it.
Yeah, and you're gonna get a visit from your veteran catcher at your house, and he's gonna threaten to shove something down your throat. So you don't want to be caught up in that situation. You know,
every team needs a vet catcher like that. You know, every team needs a vet catcher.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine like a Pudge Rodriguez or a Johnny Bench going to their star third baseman's house? Can you imagine when Pudge Rodriguez and Alex Rodriguez were on the same Texas Rangers team, and he goes, if you dog a ball like you did today, explicit.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we can't say it's a family show.
I mean, you could, but you know, I don't know where we're gonna go from there. It's just
we may just have to end it. It might be a mic drop moment.
But they know, the viewers. I'm sure our viewers know and listeners know what we're talking about.
If you don't know,
they know us well enough.
References probably at least top 3 baseball movie that's out there.
Yep.
And probably some people's top 5, got to be top 10 sports movie of all time. It's
in my top 5 sports movie of all time, for sure.
And if we are referencing Major League, so go, if you haven't seen it, it's been out for like 30 years. You're not missing anything.
Right.
If you don't know, spoilers by now, but go catch
no
that.
Spoilers.
Go and Go and catch that because it is hilarious and funny, and a lot of actors maybe not as well known back then as they are today. So go catch that as it's just a good movie. All right, Matt. Number one on the ice or on the fire list, Matt. We had a little bit of maybe trouble coming up with this, Matt. So I'm going to ask you off the top, Matt, off the top of the dome, as the kids say. You got anything?
Do I got anything for the top of the list? Yes, of course. Like Mike, I know we keep going back to this, but she just keeps doing stuff over and over and over again. And it's you're watching it, and we got two WNBA players on our list today. Cece, our girl, Caitlin Clark, is still doing the things that she's doing great. Even besides Christy Sides is trying to hold her back, try to micromanage the things she does in the court. She's still doing what she's doing in women's basketball. Our girl, Caitlin Clark, is still dominating the WNBA, destroying. I don't think I'm over embellishing. I know we're CC heads. I know we're Clark heads, right, Mike? And we have a bias, but I enjoy. We talk about it every week almost. I feel like we enjoy how much we enjoy the WNBA and watching women's basketball. But what Caitlin Clark is, she's getting better and better and better. She's getting better on the mic. She's getting better on the in the interviews. There's a little bit more of a moxie coming out, a little bit more sass, coming out to her. She's more confident on the court. You can see the things that she's doing. And if she's not, Mike, if she's not the rookie of the year, she's and I don't right now. I understand it's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese that are like neck and neck, but we're gonna get to Angel Reese in a little bit. But what Caitlin Clark is, there's nothing you can tell me that you take her off that team, that team is even doing what it's doing right now. All these girls are playing together. Aaliyah Boston and her are creating that little vibe that she can get it to her and she can go to work. Lexi Hull is playing a hell of a lot better on the defensive end.
Speaking of her, since my comment on her Instagram, Matt, I think they've won like 8 of, maybe not that much, maybe like 7 of 10, 7 of 11 games since I said that Lexi Hall needs to be playing more.
Yep.
And a lot of people are like, no, she doesn't. But look she's guarding the best player on the other team. She can hit the 3 now and again. She can have a nice drive now and again. You mentioned Aaliyah Boston and the just the damage those duos are doing. Her and Cece. Don't forget Kelsey Mitchell as well.
Yes,
it is now a 3-headed monster in Indiana, and they are clicking at the right time, Matt. They are just clicking at the right time.
Mitchell had like 27 points, and she was like, I want to say like 5 of 7 from 3 or something crazy like that this last game. And it was off of what Caitlin's doing. Caitlin is spreading. She's averaging double-doubles. She's getting very, very close to triple-double territory. Like in that.
She has one. She has one. She's the first rookie ever, by the way, in the league to have a triple-double.
And think of, she could have already done that if Christy Sides didn't sit her in that last like the last minutes of that one game when she was very close to having it too. So she is making the team better, and all those girls are starting to gel around her. Samuelson looks a hell of a lot better. We talked about Lexi Hall. Mitchell's just draining those threes. There's this team is vibing, and it looks really, really good. And there's no way you can tell me that another player is the rookie of the year unless we're going off of stats, just stats. And Caitlin Clark is, I got to look at the standing, but I at one point I saw she was like 6th or 7th in the MVP voting. I wonder if she went up, because if you're looking at MVPs, if you're saying what an MVP means, you take Caitlin Clark off this team, they aren't even close to sniffing where they are right now. Not even close. And I'm not saying that they're in the playoff picture right now. For sure, they're in the playoff picture, but they're not even there without Caitlin Clark. So a lot of, again, I know we do it. I know I feel like we do it a lot, but I feel like it's warranted. It's warranted. What she's doing is if you're not watching that, and it she's breaking records, man. She's breaking. People are showing up to games to watch Caitlin Clark. People are tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark. It's
Yeah.
and I'm starting to go back real quick. I'm starting to go back on what I was saying about the Olympics. She should be on the Olympic team. She should be on the Olympic team.
Your girl might not play now.
Hey,
Your girl Tarazi might not be playing now.
DT had her time. I feel like she's passed the torch. I mean, you saw that Phoenix Mercury game that they played, the one before this last one.
And I don't think we had a chance to talk about that. That was cool to see her and Cece chop it up, by the way, and kind of laugh as free throws were going on.
Yep, and Brittany Griner even gave her some love too.
I mean, and there was some leaks, some rumors about what because she gave her like a 5-second hug.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the rumors and or leaks and or whatever you want to call it, Matt, says that Brittany Griner said to her, don't listen to the noise, is what she said to her. Supposedly.
That's good advice, because Brittany Griner should be very expert in not listening to the noise.
Yeah.
She gets a lot of noise, and
I hope she's okay. She went down yesterday, speaking of in the game yesterday. So hope that it was yesterday or Friday, one of those 2 days.
Friday. And Diana's out. Diana's out for a couple games. She's been out like 3 or 4. I think that was her third game out with some leg soreness. But yeah, Brittany went down. So yeah, you want to see those players healthy coming down the stretch. But yeah, I mean, and who knows? Like, if one of these, if Diana's still hurt, is she going to be out of the Olympics? Like, is she not going to play?
She might not be able to play. And now Brittany Griner might be questionable. If you're Phoenix, you're holding both of those players out anyway. From
a team perspective, for sure.
Yeah, until that happens. Also, one more shout out to Nalissa Smith, by the way, a beast also for the Indiana Fever. So
that backup big role. Yep.
Yeah, if you haven't watched any of these games, Matt, the Fever are on ESPN today at 2:00. I don't know if that's Mountain Time or not. I think it is. So about 4:00 Eastern, Matt, the Indiana Fever are on ESPN going up against a very good Minnesota Lynx team. So go and check that out. There's a whole bunch of games on today. You got the Phoenix Mercury going up against the Connecticut Sun. Connecticut, a very good team, Matt. That's at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on ABC. You got the Aces and the Mystics, Matt. The Aces are clicking on all cylinders at
my
the right
second
time
favorite
as
team.
well.
My second favorite team. Yep.
Just ordered my Asia Wilson jersey. That is at 1:00. All these are on national TV networks, man. That one's on CBS. We just mentioned the Fever and the Lynx. 2:00 ESPN, and then I guess the afternoon nightcap, so to speak, will be the Atlanta Dream and the Seattle Storm. Seattle also clicking.
Yep.
At the right time. They are not on a national network, but if you have the WNBA League Pass, like Matt and I do, you'll be able to watch that as well. But and a shout out to one of my new favorite players, Matt, Bridget Carlton, for the Minnesota Lynx. So it'll be fun to see Carlton and Caitlin Clark go at it today. And again, all 3 of the 4 games on today, Matt, national TV. So no excuse not to watch it.
And I mean, I don't like. I keep telling people that, like, hey, you like WNBA. I'm like, it's not. It's good basketball. Like, these women are very competitive. They're physical. Yeah, you're not getting the dunks and the alley oops and the blah blah blah, which we all love in the NBA. But that's the NBA basketball. This is. I'm not gonna say it's a different kind of basketball, but it's. I enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. My wife's enjoying it. We're having fun watching it. Like, we watch as many Caitlin Clark games as we can outside of. I always have a game on. I got the app, like you said. We both have the app. I got a game going on, and I'm enjoying the WNBA watch. Sure, some games turn into blowouts, at the end. Sure, they do that, but for the most part, man, I mean, it's Kelsey Plum's one of my favorite players to watch. It's like, for many reasons. But she can, the way she plays basketball, runs up and down the floor like she does, and how she just leads everything. And she's just like my type of player. I love watching her play basketball. And the Sky, Angel Reese. I love watching Angel Reese play basketball too. But I mean, go out there and watch the WNBA. Watch it. Watch Caitlin. Pick a favorite player. But there's a lot of NBA on WNBA. Like Mike just said, we got 3 on primetime schedules today, this afternoon. What else are you going to do? Go bake out there in 100 degree heat?
Yeah, exactly. And what I was kind of upset with the WNBA earlier this week, Matt, they had the Fever and the Mystics. I think it was on Wednesday at like 11 a.m. I was mad at that.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like,
My yeah.
and then I totally forgot it was on because at work, and I came back and the Fever ended up losing, but Cece did everything she could to ended up with 25 points, and I was just mad at the scheduling of that. Like maybe they forgot about that one, Matt. They're like, oh, let's change that Wednesday morning game to like Wednesday evening. It seems like they just forgot that one, but.
Yeah.
Besides that, Matt, I mean, you're gonna see probably the Fever on most of these games especially on weekends on primetime networks.
And Ion too. Like, I don't know if you have antenna TV. I'm sure everybody does. If you do, it's on Ion. A lot of these games are on that station as well.
Yeah, and they do show the Ion games on the WA League Pass as well. All right, let's kick it off on the ice list, Matt. Cold. And it hasn't been cold weather-wise, but it is cold when we're talking about the namesake of our episode, Matt. Tell us why. Tell us why you have this one on the list.
The biggest reason why, and I've seen it in 3 games, okay, and I love Angel Reese. I've got Angel Reese stat patter on the cold list is because I have seen her. We've seen her do it. We've seen her team engage in it, and she's done it when this team has been up by 10, 12 points, where she goes down to the block when the clock's timing. You got under 30, 40 seconds, and she's demanding the basketball. I've seen it at least 2 or 3 times in that situation. Any other time, with the rebounds, throwing it up to herself, the Joker style kind of situations, that I give her a break on that, because in a lot of cases, she's the most dominant girl in that scenario. So she's going to get those rebounds. Could you look at her and say that is she as good as other girls or as other women in that situation? Not yet. She's not an A'ja Wilson. I think Cardoso is getting the short end of the stick over there in Chicago, because she is going out there and dominating these girls. And then here comes Angel Reese right behind her, and it's kind of like cleaning everything up and getting all the accolades when Cardoso's out there going and her stats are pretty damn good too. She's like almost she's up there and she's averaging double digits. I've seen several games that I've watched with her, and she's finished with 16 and close to 10 in a double kind of situation. And if Cardoso's not there, I don't think Angel Reese is even close to doing what she's doing. So there's that, number one. And then you got this last game. I don't know if you saw it, Mike. The game they just played against the Liberty, and there was 4 girls.
Yeah.
Or 4. There was 4. It was they're throwing, and she's demanding the ball down on the block again. And then the four players converge on her and don't. And there was people saying that, oh, she was trying to pass out. No, she was trying to get a shot up in the 4. She was trying to get up to get that last 2 to get it. And then the game is over. She's walking off, head held down. And the whole point of that game and games like that is for her to keep getting that double-double. It's not to win the game. You're not trying to win the game. You're down 10. I get it. She's still in the game trying to get points to get stat. If that's not stat padding, I don't know what is. And it's very, very annoying. And it kind of angers me, because you look at Caitlin Clark. Is she stat padding? Like, how can you say that she's stat padding when finally the players that they're throwing the ball that she's passing the ball to are making the layups, making the shots, when before, Mike, we were talking about it earlier. There was the girl, they weren't making the layups. They weren't making those easy bunny buckets that you're getting those passes. Caitlin, they're starting to do that now. That's making the team better. When you're forcing the ball to a rookie so she can keep up her double-double streak when you're down by 10, that's stat padding. And to me, that doesn't have a place in the game. It's you're not organically getting the stats that another player is doing, when the whole point, all this is she's trying to stay in that rookie of the year hunt. And I love Angel Reese. I like watching her play. I love her attitude. I love her moxie. I don't like what she's doing with the stat padding, because it's blatantly right there in front of everybody. You can see it, what she's doing. There's nothing about trying to win the game in what she's doing at the end of these games, trying to keep this streak up. There's nothing about that. And that's what drives me freaking crazy about the whole situation. And it's not her. I'm not blaming totally her. You know, her coach is doing it. The media and everybody's pushing it down. You got media saying that they put Angel Reese ahead of Caitlin Clark in the Rookie of the Year race just because their team, Chicago Sky, has maybe a couple more or wins than them, or they're in a better playoff situation. That's that. If you're not, not anymore. You're right, not anymore. But to me, that's not how that works. And to not even acknowledge it when they're blatantly doing it, that is not good for the game. And I don't like it. I don't like seeing it. I hate it. And Cardoso's getting the short end of the stick over there. She's the best player that they got on that team almost. I mean, the best big, I should say. She's the most dominant big over there, and she's not getting the shine that she should get.
And I don't know what the definition of stat padding it is. Maybe it is what you said it is, trying to achieve records or achieve stat combinations when you're down, when you're going to lose the game. It almost seems like you mentioned they're more focused on at least getting her stats before winning the game. It seems like they're doing that before winning the game. And if they're winning more games, Matt, of course you'd have her probably number one, and she already is number one on a lot of people's Rookie of the Year categories. But again, if Indiana finishes with a better record, Matt, there's no way you cannot give it to Cece, because this team won I think 3 games last year, 4, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and look at it.
They had the number 1 pick. Yeah,
2 years in a row, mind you. And again, all research, all reaction, zero research. So, but like you mentioned also, if CC's not on the Indiana Fever team, there is no way that they are where they are now. And if you look at the top 8 teams, they don't have divisions or conferences in the WNBA because there's just simply not enough teams yet. 2 teams are coming in the next couple of years, as we'll see Toronto and San Francisco / the Bay Area have a team. So there's no conferences, no divisions, nothing like that. Top 8 teams get in, man. There's only 12 teams, so only 12 or the last, obviously the last 4 teams aren't going to get in. Indiana sits, they already have 10 wins, man. I think they've already more than doubled their win total from next year. And you cannot tell me that isn't the CC effect, by the way. Chicago's right behind them. They're only a half game behind at 9-14. Indiana's 10-14. So it's almost going to be a race for the Rookie of the Year, Matt. It's going to be a race to see who finishes with the better record, because maybe that's a tiebreaker, Matt. Whoever finishes with the better record, you give that, unless somehow, some way, we haven't seen in basketball since Jason Kidd and Grant Hill were co-MVPs in like 92 or whatever that was.
Yep.
I mean, some of the ladies on like the ESPN pregame shows, like Andrea Carter and those type
Monica
of
McNutt. Yeah. Yep.
They're saying, what about co-Rookie of the Year? And that was shut down by one of the hosts. But that
would be the best case scenario,
just to kind of even it out, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but
because I mean, if you're because that's what it was before. Monica McNutt was one of the ones that came out and said that she's got Angel Reese ahead of Caitlin because of the win-loss record, because of the playoff seeding. Well, that doesn't go now. So what do you have now? And like I was saying, like Cardoso, I don't think when you look at that team, Cardoso takes a lot of Angel's adds a lot of to what Angel does good with the rebounding and the points down there, because she's almost averaging 10 rebounds a game. Cardoso is. I mean, there's plenty of games with 10, 11, 12, 14, rebounds, and she averages close to almost 10 rebounds a game, and that's a force down there. She's not scoring the points, but she's getting those rebounds, and with that opens up Angel Reese. And I don't know how you can look at that and say she's not. When everything starts with Caitlin Clark, the ball in hand starts with Caitlin, right? So she facilitates everything. She's finally being able to facilitate everything. And if Christy Sides would shut up on the sidelines, just quit telling her where to pass the ball and get a turnover, the very next play, and that going down a rabbit hole. Anyway, we should have put Christy Sides on the cold list. Next week, she's going on the cold list if she doesn't get her stuff together. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. So and I don't know what it is about Angel Reese, man. Maybe I'm not a huge fan of hers because, again, the media seems to be a lot of the media seems to be on her side more than CC's. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because
If what I've noticed is if the former ballers, the former women that have played basketball in the WNBA, they tend to slant towards towards Angel Reese more. That's what I've noticed. And
maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, that's what. And there's a couple roads you can go down in that situation, Mike. And I don't want to go down those roads, but we all know there's a couple roads you can go down in that situation with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and why one would be favored than the other. But as far as pure basketball stuff, Angel Reese is doing really good stuff. What she's doing as a rookie is really, really good. But you can't discount the fact that Cardoso's there also, and what Cardoso's doing is really, really good as well. Caitlin's over there gelling. That team is starting to gel. Everybody's going. The sky looks like it's like a one woman team. Like you got Shanae Carter or Kennedy Carter going off. Then there's Angel Reese getting it doesn't look the same. You know what I mean? It doesn't look the same when you're comparing the teams and who has a bigger impact on different team. Maybe the team dynamic is different in Chicago than it is in Indiana. But I just don't know how you can have one over the other when you're actually watching the basketball games. I don't. They're close, but there's one that stands out above because of the way she does and how she affects the entire team, not just her stats.
Right. And I mean, I guess to throw shade at your girl in Chicago, I mean, if she could have made a layup way earlier,
I
wouldn't have to worry about getting quadruple teamed when there's 10 seconds left and you're down by 10. If there was an award for most missed layups in a season, hands down, unanimous vote. But
and that goes to the rebounds. That's where she gets those rebounds because she keeps missing the layups. She can't make those bunnies.
That's and it's weird. And excuse me, there are conferences obviously in the WNBA. I guess I meant there's no divisions in the WNBA. Obviously, there's an East and a West. So, but there is no divisions or stuff like that. So top 8 teams get in. There is no like play-in tournament. There is nothing like the NBA. You know, we should have put on the ice list, Matt, is the stupid in-season tournament is coming back next year. So obviously,
well, they changed the name. Yeah, we forgot that, huh? They changed the name. We should have put that on there.
I thought it was still I thought they were still calling it the in-season tournament.
It's like I got to look it up. They changed it. They changed it to something something different.
Are you sure? Because I thought I could have swore I saw in-season.
Hey, what's that guy
here
doing?
it is. Here, what is this called? I found it.
You found it?
The Emiratis?
The Emirates Cup. That's right.
What is that? Is that
the
a
Emirates.
sponsor?
It's the Emirates is an Abu Dhabi thing. I think this is like a sponsorship kind of a deal, the way I understood it.
Okay. Well, it's still stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're painting polka dots on a tiger. It still has its stripes,
yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, it's still a tiger. It's still it's still poop. You know, you can't put a bow or a beret on a piece of poop.
Giving these Lakers fans more hope. All right, Matt, number 2 on the ice list. Speaking of the Los Angeles Lakers, Matt, I've never seen a 53, 55 overall pick get so much hype. And, you know, it's just ruining my summer. It's probably ruining your summer. It's ruining summer league.
Yep.
And it is just terrible, terrible coverage. I even posted on ESPN's Instagram, made a comment. I said, hey, at ESPN, I'll bet you, or I dare you not to make a post about anybody in the James family for a week. Can't be done. Like 12 hours later, there's Bronny James scoring another 8 points. Not
even that, Mike. Not even that. This guy,
he had 8 points his last game.
Did he have 8 points his last game? Okay, I didn't watch it. I must have missed that one. But
you're not missing much.
The one that stuck in my craw was I was flipping through Instagram, or I can't remember what it was, but I saw back to back Bronny plays. And yeah, there was one that he made a good defensive play, but I've seen 6 guys make that same defensive play in the game, right? He had 3 points. This is his stat line out of 3 games: 15 points, 6 for 26 in field goals, 0 for 12 from 3-point range. What are we doing here? And Dalton Connect is just scoring 20 points, 15, 16, and he's leading the break. Like, Dalton Connect is freaking going crazy. But you got Bronny. We're looking at Bronny James defensive highlights. Mike, have you seen this dude? Yugi Togoshi? Have you seen him? Yuki Togoshi,
If
the
he's-
5'6" Japanese
I was just saying, if
30-year-old.
he's not a character on Super Mario.
Look him up. Okay, he's with Dallas, and he's 5'6". He's 30 years old, Japanese All-Star. This guy is I don't know if he's going to translate to the NBA. I don't know if he's going to have a Jeremy Lin or a Isaiah Thomas kind of situation, being those guys that came from kind of nowhere. And I'm talking about, I'm not going to talk about Zeke. I'm talking about the other Isaiah Thomas. There's just we're missing out on these things, like what different guys are doing, and that's what the summer league is supposed to see. Outliers, guys that pop up and start doing things. But no, we're watching, like you said, the 55th pick overall that's playing 3, 4, 5 minutes. Like, what do we do? It's not helping. To me, in my opinion, it's not helping grow the NBA. It's just so people can come. It's engagement farming, engagement farming. That's what it's called nowadays. We're either going to be pissed off because you're showing LeBron or Bronny James, or we want to go see what Bronny James is doing. And I think it's killing the summer league. And you're probably like, Matt, it's the summer league. Freaking relax. I get it. But I enjoy watching the summer league for guys that come out. It looks like a big AAU game. It looks like a big AAU game, an AAU tournament, and I enjoy watching basketball. But to get this 3 points and 1 assist and whatever shoved down my throat, I can't handle that. That's driving me freaking crazy anymore. And we should have put the Olympics on the cold list too. I forgot that Olympic team. I got some beef on the Olympic team.
Well, we're going to slide that into our number 1, but continuing the summer league, just ruining everyone's summer is it's bad, Matt. And you said pissed off that they are showing LeBron James. They're showing literally LeBron James at Olympic summer camp, watching his phone to watch his son score a measly 3 points. I don't care. I don't care what LeBron James is doing. I mean, sure, I want the USA team to win. Honestly, I was hoping Canada would win the other day. But just because of Jamal Murray, who did not play well. He looked like a Bronny James in that game. But man, it's just bad, man. And they're literally like ESPN's with lone clip on Instagram or whatever is look at Bronny's lockdown defense. Well, you got to show his barely average defense because he doesn't have an offense.
Right.
They're like, oh, LeBron's first dunk of the he was wide. He had a wide open lane. Like, at least his dad's like dunking on people. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to grow into a good, and maybe he'll have a 5-6 year career just solely on his defense. We don't know. It is hard to say. He may not even get out of the G League this year, Matt. But knowing LeBron, he's obviously going to pull some strings. And I don't know if you like or heard or follow Clay Travis and Outkick the Coverage, Matt. Go to his Instagram and listen to what he said about Bronny James. I think he speaks for most of us, if not all of us, when talking about this situation. So please go, and maybe I'll try to pull it up as we dive into our number 1. But continuing Summer League being number 2 on the ice list, Matt, I don't know if it's the Nuggets not being able to catch a break, Matt, but Deron Holmes, their top pick, they had the 28th pick. They traded with Phoenix up to the 22nd. He tears his Achilles in Summer League, Matt. So they're supposed, kind of Jokic backup, one of the bench players that were going to kind of give the Nuggets bench some depth is now lost.
Well, he loses a season of development. And now he's going to have to get right and hope that injury doesn't affect his game going forward. I'm not going to say it ruins his development. It does. It sets his development back. I mean, maybe even 2 seasons almost, because you have to get back from the injury. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to get back from the injury.
You have to shut down basketball
Yep.
activities to now start rehabbing your foot.
And then you got to get back into basketball. So that's like 2 years potentially of this dude's development being just trashed. And it sucks. It kills me. My gut, my heart hurts for the kid. All he wanted to do was be a Denver Nugget. They've been following this kid since high school. He's been on their radar, and they've been going back and forth. And for this to happen, I wouldn't say that he was going to be a huge contributor to this team, but just watching him shoot the ball on the outside and being that big and can be a rim protector, he could come in, and I mean, we could see with the development. We wanted to watch the development with this guy, and now we can't see that. And now we're gonna have to. It's gut wrenching. It's heartbreaking for this kid, and for guys like for kids like this, just in general, that happen to come in and a devastating injury happens to him. So yeah, it's a total gut punch for us here in Nugget Nation, Mile High Basketball. It sucks for us. We're already going through it this offseason. However, whoever you want to follow, as far as the Nuggets, Nuggets Twitter or Nuggets X, the timeline has been just absolute trash and toxicity. And then now this happened, and our pets' heads are falling off, and now you lay this on. There's all kinds of. We're down.
We've got no jobs.
No food.
Our pets' heads are falling. Yeah, it is.
This is where we're at. It's.
And again, they're only a year removed from a championship, but they've lost crucial pieces. And now you're highly touted, like you mentioned, scouting this guy for a long time. He goes down. You do bring in Soric, Matt, who I like. It's kind of another backup big, but the depth is still not going to be there, Matt. I know Gary Trent Jr. is linked to this team. He would be a nice piece off the bench, although he said he wouldn't take a minimum.
He didn't want to come here. Yeah.
I mean, he could probably get more money, but he's not taking a veteran minimum. But I don't know what else he's going to do.
Yeah, that was odd. That was real odd for him to come out and say it like that. Like, that was crazy. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to take a vet minimum to go play there. Well, you just said you take a vet minimum to play with the contender. This is not a contender. What's wrong with the Nuggets? We don't want you, Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they have lost some crucial pieces in free agency. So who knows? We'll see with the stalemate between Jamal now and the team during this Olympic break. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. It almost seems, I mean, to a lot of people, the sky is falling, Matt, because and then you have those Monday morning GMs like, the Nuggets why aren't they signing it? They don't have money, dude.
Yeah,
they do not have money. Like, are you gonna donate some money so they can pay these guys?
And I love the commentary, like, well, they could do this. They got, like, you got the nerds that are coming down. They can be this much underneath their apron if they do this, and this. And it's like, you don't think they've thought about that? Or do you think they thought about it and they're like, you know what? We have a plan. We still have the Denver Nuggets plan, whether we like it or not. And I'm in this category. I would like them to get vets, but their strategy is to grow from within. They're trying to save as much money as they can to pay their stars, that they have established stars, and grow as much as they can.
A lot of people forget they didn't trade or sign MPJ, Jamal Murray, Jokic. Those are all draft picks at one point.
Yep.
Like, those guys just didn't. I mean, they did fall off a tree and they landed right in the Nuggets' lap, but like, they weren't huge signings. They were all homegrown draft picks, and that's what they're trying to continue.
That's their model. That's the Nuggets model.
Sure, you need a KCP, a Jeff Green. You want those veterans sprinkled in, but they're just not out there. And if they are, they can't afford them right now.
And Mike, when was the last time a team signed a big major free agent, big money, and the next year they signed multiple during the offseason, and the next season they won the championship? When has that happened? It's been a while. It's been a long time since that's happened. So,
off the top of my head, I do not know.
It's been I would go back to Kevin Durant maybe going to the Warriors, but the Warriors are already good. So that, I don't know if you count that.
I mean, how many years in between LeBron and Chris Bosh joining up in Miami?
That was the one I was going to say, because they lost to Dallas.
But there was about a year I think it took them 2 years, and then they won, what, 2 straight?
Right.
But they
But
went
in
to
the
4 straight, didn't they?
Yeah, they were there a lot. Yeah, it was like 4 straight, I think, because they got Boston out of there, and then Boston wasn't a threat no more, and then there was really nobody else. Indiana every little bit now, and then Miami, not Miami, but
Because then they lost to they went
Toronto.
4 straight years, right? And they lost to Dallas, they lost to the Spurs, and then they won 2 in a row. I don't
Right.
remember.
And that was that Ray Allen shot against the Spurs, right?
But
That
the
was their
Spurs beat them
first.
1 year, didn't they? Spurs and
The
Dallas beat them 1
Spurs.
year.
I know Dallas beat them 1 year, but like in recent memory, in recent history, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. I know those were trade situations, but they what did they do? They didn't do anything. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. What have they done? Nothing. They haven't done anything together. And I just don't. And Paul George, like there's what were the Nuggets supposed to do with these guys that were available? We weren't. Yeah, they were in the Paul George hunt, but Paul George didn't want to come here because of the money situation. He wanted an extra year or something like that. They were kind of sort of in on Klay Thompson. I don't think they were. And then now the Nuggets are playing chess. Well, everybody else is playing checkers. But you can kind of say that, well, Oklahoma City, they're kind of playing that chess mentality. They trade Giddey over for Caruso. That, in my opinion, that Caruso get was huge for that team. And they're going crazy about Hartenstein. Hartenstein had a great run in New York, but what has he done? Like, really? Like, what do we? There's in my opinion, there's too much emphasis on what the NBA and these guys that they're signing and the big money that they give these guys, as opposed to the teams that are trying to build from within. Orlando's one of those teams that they're adding pieces. They add pieces. KCP, huge piece. And you have these teams that are the Houston Rockets, the Spurs. These teams are doing it like the Nuggets. They're playing that chess game. And I think that the NBA, as far as a whole, is kind of going away from that checkers mentality, that super team mentality. But I think the analysts and I think the people that still watch the game are still stuck in that when they get mad that you don't sign a big player or a player. I heard was it Zach Lowe or no, it was Tim Bontemps on ESPN. The Philadelphia 76ers have the best big three in the league. The big three does not exist anymore. Big three's gone. There's no big three. There hasn't been a dominant big three since the Miami Heat way back when. And we were just talking about that. That's been so long ago. There hasn't been a big three since then. Since then, there hasn't been a successful big three that has came in and won a championship outside of already winning a championship like he did with the Warriors. But like Kevin Durant did with the Warriors. But it's that the NBA offseason has been a freaking gas for me. It's like been up and down, giving me stomach aches, making me laugh, making me nauseous, all this and that. And it's been wild, Mike. It's been wild. I'm glad we have the WNBA to keep us busy.
So going back to those Heat teams, Matt, they did make 4 straight NBA finals, and it was 11, 12, 13, and 14. 11, they lost to Dallas. 12, they won. 13, they won. And 14, they lost to the Spurs. So it was the Spurs mixed in there. So 2012, by the way, they beat the aforementioned Oklahoma City Thunder, that Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook team. And in 2013, they beat the Spurs. So they played the Spurs 3 out of the 4 straight NBA finals.
And see, that's a mindset that Calvin Booth has. He wants to be more like the Spurs. He wants to be more like the Spurs instead of like the Heat or the whatever you want to call it. Like, he wants to win. I know I'm going back to the Nuggets, but he wants to win like 3 out of 4 or be in 3 out of 5, something like that scenario. That's what the goal is. And the pieces are in place. The pieces are in place for us here. I really feel confident they are.
All right, Matt, moving on to number 1 on our ice list. You wanted to talk about the Olympics. Well, my ice part of the Olympics is this whole Kawhi Leonard either getting sent home or withdrawing from the men's national team is just, it's almost weird. I mean, I understand personally if he was like, look, I can't get hurt again. Like, I can't afford to get hurt. Not only is it going to hurt this team, it's going to hurt the Clippers, who are probably not going anywhere anyway again. I just can't do it. And then Grant Hill comes out and says it just didn't work out. But a lot of the rumors, I guess, are saying that he was sent home, like he was asked to leave. But then some of the other side of it is he withdrew his name, which again, personally, I understand if he did that, Matt, because he just cannot afford to miss another half to full season in the NBA because, like you said, what has he done besides, he helped the Spurs team as a young guy. He helped that Toronto team, but since he teamed up with this LA team with, like you said, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, those guys, James Harden coming in, hasn't done anything since he left a team where he was almost the guy. Strange how things work out. Like you add other stars to this guy. Now, I mean, a lot of it he can't stay healthy, but he just can't.
Right.
He just can't stay on the court is the bottom line. And I understand if he withdrew from the Olympics, him being sent home is just that would be a weird aspect of it.
And it raises a lot of questions too. Like, what's the big issue there with the Clippers? You got Tyronn Lue there holding down the fort. Hell of a coach, but like he's got to deal with this guy, Kawhi Leonard. And there's a lot of things coming out about or that you're starting to see with Kawhi that really like is because you've seen the same things with Kyrie Irving almost. The mind and if the mind doesn't follow, if the body goes and the mind doesn't follow, you're not going to get very far. And that's what it looks like. A lot of these guys, especially these two in the Kawhi Leonard situation, it's and I've had a big problem with this United States team, the way it was put together. I mean, you're not getting basketball players. You're not getting team basketball. You're trying to look at getting the best players in America on your team. And the fact that I don't want to say that I'm anti-America, anti-USA, but the fact that Joel Embiid is on this basketball team makes it very, very hard for me to root for it.
Don't get me started on that.
I cannot stand Joel Embiid. I can't stand his game. Maybe he's a nice guy. Maybe he's a good, cool guy to go have a chicken nuggets with or something like that, But as far as his basketball game, it's terrible. That you're not going to win a championship game with the way that guy plays basketball. There's no freaking way. He's there, Mike. This team, they played the what do they call them? The college kids when you had Cooper Flag in there just destroying these guys. It was they lost or they won. I don't know if you've seen this, Mike, but they won by a point against college kids in their last Vegas warm-up games. And Joel Embiid in those games, he's trying to get fouls in a pickup game, in essentially a glorified pickup game, a practice game to get these guys ready. He's baiting fouls. He's doing the things, and that's his game. That's what he does. Do it in the NBA. You're not going to be able to get away with it in this international play. It ain't going to happen. No freaking way. And the fact that you got Kawhi Leonard just bouncing off the team, leaving, there's no Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan on this basketball team. And don't get me started with LeBron James. LeBron James has a lot of knowledge and he knows the game of basketball. I don't know if these guys follow him like they did Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan when they were on those Olympic teams.
Apparently he was voted Captain America. He was voted the greatest, what was it? The greatest player
Olympian ever?
Or a greatest basketball Olympian something.
Who voted that? Who voted him that?
Apparently his peers.
But then again, that goes down to you don't have the egos. You don't, or you do. You have the fragile egos on. You have. It's an AAU mindset on this team. You have Jason Tatum, who's not even the best player on his damn team, and they didn't even. And when you Gary Trent or who's the guy that I just forgot his name, the CU kid. It just skipped my mind Derek White. God, I can't believe I forgot that name. Yeah, they added him to the team, but where's Jaylen Brown at? He's not on this team.
He's walking around with the smoke show that the Chicago Sky just cut a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah. I mean, what are we doing here? You're not, and Grant Hill was one of my favorite players of all time. I can't stand what the hell he's doing with this team.
Who put him in charge, by the way? Who put him in charge? Everything was fine when Coach K was around.
I don't know. And they got is Steve Kerr, the head coach.
Steve Kerr's not bad. I don't mind Steve Kerr,
But I still think he's gonna baby these guys. Kevin Durant's hurt already. He's questionable for the next game that they got. I don't think they played a medal game this year. You got Serbia. I know Slovenia is kind of, you still got the Spanish team. I mean, there's a lot of teams that I think that I just don't see, and I want to look at Steph Curry and be like, he could be one of those guys because he's been in the game long enough. He's been on a team where he's the man long enough. But then you look at that team that he's been on, Draymond Green is going crazy. Do you think a Kobe Bryant a led team or Michael, and I keep going back to these two guys because these are the only two guys that I can remember and Larry Bird, but that's way back. But Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, and there's just or Kobe Bryant. There's not a personality like that on this basketball team. LeBron James is the closest to that, but he has never exuded that kind of demand of a team, that kind of leader on a team. And his head game is correct. I mean, I didn't mean to say it like that. His mindset for the basketball game is his head for it is there. It's up there. He knows what he's doing when it comes to basketball. I just don't know if he's that guy that if you mess around on the team, he's going to bust your ass. I don't know if he's that kind of guy. Kobe Bryant was, Michael Jordan was. I don't know if he's that guy. They don't have that guy on this team, and they need that kind of guy to go against the world. We've talked about this before, Mike. The best basketball players in the world are not from the United States. They're just plain and simply not from the United States. And I just think this Olympic run is going to be a wake-up call for this team and a wake-up call for USA basketball because they need to figure out how they're going to play and get guys that are players, get team basketball in there instead of building AAU guys anymore. Because that's all they got. It's an AAU basketball team.
Yeah, and first of all, if Kawhi Leonard was sent home, why was he even chosen to be on this team? So I'm going to go through the roster, Matt. Tell me, maybe besides LeBron, I guess, who would be, I guess, the leader you would look up to? Obviously, you got Bam Adebayo. He's 26. Nope. Good player, but just not there. Yeah, Devin Booker, get the hell out of here. Like you mentioned, Steph Curry. He's got to be at top of that list. AD?
Nope. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
KD?
Hell no. No.
Anthony Edwards. Speaking of egos, this guy.
He needs a couple more seasons, but he's the closest. Honestly, Matt, to that.
He needs to get knocked on his ass. He needs to get humbled quick.
He needs to get Jordan rules. You know how Detroit beat this? Yeah. I almost cussed. Detroit beat the crap out of him in the playoffs. He needs to get his butt kicked in the playoffs like Detroit did. That's what he needs. He's there. Like, I can feel Anthony Edwards. I have no problem with when he came out and said, I'm the number one option, because he is the number one option on that team. He is, but I don't think he's there with the mindset to lead it. You saw what he did in the Minnesota series with Denver and with Dallas. I don't think he's there yet. I don't know what it takes. Like you said, maybe he needs to get knocked on his ass a handful of times, but I think he's close. He's close, but he's not there yet. All
right. We just mentioned the center who plays for Philadelphia. We're not even going to mention him. Tyrese Halliburton. No.
Nope. Hell no.
This is an interesting one because he is a veteran. He's now a 2-time NBA champ, Matt. Seems super quiet, but Drew Holiday.
No.
No. Not even an interesting question.
So it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question because of his play on the floor. What he can do in his play on the floor, right? How he can go out there and play defense and defensively lead this team and defensively get like, oh, hey man, hey, Drew's going, man. We got to pick up. We got to go with Drew. Drew's going out there. He's picked up his defense. We got to go with him. But as far as vocal wise, as far as like, I'm afraid to let that guy down. He just
seems quiet. Yeah.
He does. Yeah. Like you said, he seems quiet, but his play could lead it. His play could get some, but to go over and say, man, I don't want to let Drew down. I got to get this. I don't know if he has that yet. Like you said, he's quiet.
All right. We mentioned him a little bit, Jason Tatum. If you wear a shirt with yourself on it, I'm not trusting anybody who does that.
Jason Tatum is the most overrated basketball player in the NBA right now. He's that guy is just, I don't see him the way other people see him. I just can't. It's crazy with that.
And then finally, we just mentioned Derek White, who
he just got there.
Yeah, I mean, is it crazy that there's 3 Boston Celtics on this team, or is that right around where it should be since they just won, I guess.
Makes you wonder. Yeah, it makes you do. But again, you said there's 3 Boston Celtics on this team, but the right one's not on it. Like, what happened there?
I don't know.
Where's Jaylen Brown?
And then obviously the coaching staff, you got Steve Kerr, he's the head coach, Mark Few, assistant coach, and then Tyronn Lue and Eric Spoelstra, also assistants. So nice pieces as coaches.
And I would love to have Jalen Brunson on this team. I know his hands hurt and everything like that, but I would love to have that dude on this team. And I wonder if he was healthy, if he would be on this team. I would love to have that guy on this team.
You might as well. I don't know if Joker has dual citizenship, but if he does, you might as well just throw.
Yeah, you did throw a prayer at him, right?
Can you imagine if they did what they did for Embiid and just threw him on the U.S. roster?
Yeah, that would be that. It makes me sick to my stomach. But see, Joker would never do that. You know why? Because Joker is Serbian. Joker's going to play.
By the way, did you see him go against Wemby in the the qualifiers or whatever? Did you see that Wemby block? By the way, I forgot who they were playing, but the ball was like literally at its peak in the air, and somehow he got turned around and then just kind of spun around and still blocked the shot.
But
and all these little country guys from I don't know. I can't even think of I don't know, like Lithuania are like looking at this guy like where the hell are we going to do? I know.
Alien.
I mean, his brand is what it is. Alien.
He isn't like I love Wemby. I love Wemby, but like again, you said Joker. What Joker did to those guys? He did it to Wemby. He did it to Gobert was over there because I think Joker had a modest 20-some points with I think 12 plus rebounds or something like that. It was modest, but it was.
It was like 25 and 13.
Something like that. Yeah. It was, but, and that's why I'm not, as a Nuggets fan, the sky's not falling because we have that guy. And that guy he's a 3-time MVP.
And the other side of the fence of that argument is they're wasting Joker's prime because they're not making moves. Well, but again, where are they going to get this money from?
What are they going to do? What's the move that they could have made?
Would you have liked that trade, by the way? Because there was a reported trade for Paul George before he opted out of his deal in the Clippers, and MPJ was part of it. I guess Golden State wanted a whole bunch of draft picks, and I guess what kiboshed the whole thing was the Nuggets didn't want to give up those draft picks. But look, I would love Paul George on this team, Matt. Would absolutely love him. Over MPJ, but Paul George is 10 years older than MPJ. And do you trust MPJ? He's coming off arguably his best season. He played 81 out of 82 games, and the only reason he didn't play the 82nd is because he had the wrong damn shoes, which right. is that's unheard of almost to me. But I mean, would you have liked that trade if it were to if it was to happen? Obviously, it won't happen now, but
right. I don't know, man. I would have been like a wait and see with that. I would have been sad to see MPJ go, but there's the aspect of we got a guy. We got one of those guys here. Let's see if this could be a better opportunity for him than it was in LA, than it was in Oklahoma City, that it was in Indiana. Because remember, that dude came from 3 teams already. So
and he's 34. He's not a young spring.
He's not a young. Anymore. And how much they're paying him? MPJ. So this is the biggest thing with the Nuggets. There's a lot of what ifs. What if Christian Brown, what we all think he can do, fill in for that second spot? Well, if you watch the Nuggets game, the Nuggets summer game, Michael Malone said right there that 2 spot is up for grabs. There's Strawther there.
I like the way Strawther's
Brown
looking already in summer.
Yes. And
if he didn't get hurt last year, because remember he dropped like 28 points that one game off the bench.
And Michael Malone even said it too. He goes, what hurt his progression last year is he got injured. And if he doesn't get injured, there's all these, I think there's the right pieces there, but there's a lot of what ifs that we got to see. Michael Porter Jr. has to average 25 points this year. There's no excuse for him not averaging 25 points this year. And I think it starts there. The Jamal Murray stuff, I wasn't too excited. I wasn't too worried about it. I was like, he's just playing the Olympics. But then I watched him play. We might want to hold off. I mean, I'm not suggesting Jamal, but he might be in that area where he's starting to deteriorate. where the health isn't going to be there. He's not going to be available. He's not going to be able to do things he did because of the injuries. That's my biggest question mark this season is Jamal Murray, because I could see him getting traded. I want him to get traded. I don't, but I can see him getting traded, and he won't be the value that he could have been or that he deserves.
Well, and a lot of people saying a lot of people maybe it's because of these reasons, but local reporters here who are out there covering the Olympics are saying he just looked heavy and out of shape, which I mean that's an easy fix though, right? You can get back in basketball shape. Maybe he was just in Mexico eating bonbons. I don't know.
I mean, we know Jamal has his value. Jamal Murray's value is in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
he's not a regular season guy.
He single-handedly won games in the playoffs by himself,
and that's why I don't care that he's not an all-star, because he's one of the best playoff basketball players that I've seen in a long time, and I don't think it's like a big issue to say that, I don't think it is, but if he's injured and he can't get in shape because of his injuries, if he can't have that and to play a full or be ready for. There's a lot of question marks surrounding Jamal Murray right now that I'm like, it's tough,
Yeah, and a lot of people were picking that Canada team to be one of the teams to possibly knock off the U.S. team.
You got Shea there, you got Brooks there, you got.
Wait, did you see Dylan Brooks just like walk in front of people's interview? He walked in front of Devin Booker getting interviewed, literally in between the camera and I
love
he walked in front of Anthony Edwards getting interviewed, and these guys are just looking at him like, what's this guy doing?
He's the dog that runs around and just pees on everything and tries to claim it, but he does it. Nobody takes him too seriously. But I like that.
His I guess his game doesn't match his bark.
No. Yeah, I mean, but I'm not gonna lie, Mike. I wouldn't mind having that attitude, that mindset here on my team. On the team I root for.
Do you look at him as an enforcer? Is that really needed in today's game?
No, I don't. But I think
he stirs the pot. I mean, he's a decent. He's an average to maybe above average defender. But
I don't think. Yeah, he's a good. He's above average defender. But I don't think anybody fears him. I don't think they scare like. And here's something, Mike, that might totally get people all fired up, but. I wouldn't mind having Draymond Green on our team, on the Nuggets team, because you talk about enforcer. That's an enforcer. Is he going to get teed up? Is he going to be suspended? Sure, maybe, but I think he's going to be there for the playoffs. Like a Jamal Murray situation for a trade him for Draymond Green.
I wouldn't do that.
I don't know. The attitude Golden State is going downhill. Golden State's, they're not. Losing Clay, I don't know. They got Kuminga there. It could be something you go pick up. Maybe Jamal Murray's not the guy you trade, but I don't know. I don't want to trade Jamal Murray. I'm not suggesting we trade him, but we gotta. There's a lot of question marks surrounding him right now, Mike, and I hope that the summer, the Olympics will, he starts to play better, gets healthy and stuff like that, and go right into the regular season.
I hope so, but. There's just so many questions heading into the off seasons for a lot of teams and stuff like that. By the way, if you want to know, speaking of Paul George, shout out to Podcast P and his podcast. But if you want to know kind of the behind the scenes, go watch. I don't know if it's the latest episode now where he basically explains how his whole free agent process started, even going back to Indiana. This was the first time he was an actual free agent, Matt, even though. I'm still not sure or unsure or not clear on what sign and trade is. I'm still learning that because he had a sign and trade from Oklahoma City to the Clippers, because he mentioned in his podcast he's like we got that deal done. I'm like, who's we and how did you force? Like, did you force a trade? I don't know. He's saying that his move to Philadelphia wasn't about the money. He would have stayed in LA for less. But then the way he talks about it sounds like, it was definitely
about the money.
So these guys are funny that are like, it's not about the money. And then they offer you 3 years, 100 million, and you're like, no, I'm not staying for that. I'm like, well, then it's definitely about the money because that's
Right. It's always about the money. KCP didn't leave or go to Orlando because they got a better shot at winning the championship. Is
No,
because
he's got 2 rings. He doesn't need.
he doesn't need another one. He's got the situation he can go into is make more money, right?
Yeah.
And he can be a
He's
part
a
of
veteran guy on a
growth.
young team.
Yeah, and that's what he
Up-and-coming
went.
team, by the way.
Yeah, that's going to be a very good team this year. Very good team. They got Suggs, Paulo Blanchard. They got Banchero, I mean, and then they who's that other cat they got?
They just signed the Wagner brothers.
Yes. So Orlando's going. So you can see that, but Paul George, like when I hear that stuff like that, and then I hear Gary Trent Jr., I want to go play for a contender, and I'll take the league, but I don't want to play for Denver. Like Denver still has, I don't understand. There's something that people don't like the way Nikola Jokic plays basketball, because if you look at how many guys that Nikola's got paid through his career is just playing basketball, you'd want to come play with him. Brucey Brown got paid, KCP got paid, Jamal got paid, Michael Porter Jr. got paid, Zeke Naji got paid. Like I know I'm talking about guys on our team, but these guys got paid. And then you go elsewhere. These guys are going to get because of what Aaron Gordon right now. If Aaron Gordon was a free agent, he could make all he can make. God,
He'd probably get damn near a max contract.
It's just wild that guys don't want to come play here, and it goes back to that mentality and then you mentioned it earlier with the All-Star games, Mike, the hockey ones, how the hockey players can't not play defense. Well, the NBA, they have no problem not playing defense because of the mentality in some of these guys. Yeah. No problem not playing defense.
But that is going to wrap up our Fire and Ice list. Also wrap up the program this morning. Thank you all for listening, watching, however you consume this as well. Make sure you go to all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, X, subscribe to the YouTube and Spotify channels as well, and go to our home base as well, e5280sports.com. A lot of good content on there. All of the past podcasts are on there. A lot of good articles on there as well. So thank you for joining us this morning. Matt, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Go watch some basketball. Go watch some WNBA basketball today. There's 3 games out there. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If not, don't be outside right now. Like it's 90 some degrees right now. Stay cool and drink a lot of water. That's hydrate.
Yeah. I mean, it's 9:30 here in Denver, Matt, and it's already 87 degrees, which those are like almost like you wake up at 8 o'clock in Vegas, man. It's already like 110 degrees. That's our comparison. If it's 90 degrees in Denver at 9:30 in the morning, something's going on.
Yeah, it's wild. I went to the mountains yesterday to escape the heat, which it was still hot up there, but it wasn't as bad. But yeah, I mean, it's hot. It's a scorcher out there.
All right, that is going to do it for us here on the Wheelhouse. Once again, go check out all the socials, personal and otherwise, and head to e5280sports.com and look out throughout the week as new shows drop every week. So go and check that out. For Matt Mascarenas, I'm Michael Spillane. We will talk to you next week.